A very good morning to you. Welcome to Thursday morning broadcast on Anambra Broadcasting Service. And this is Good Morning, Anambra. How are you? I'm glad to be here. I hope you had a very good night rest because it hasn't rained for some time now. And then it did rain last night. Everywhere very cool. Welcome indeed. My name is Dijama. Do stand by for the program slated for this hour, Worcester Press Review. Okay, welcome again. Joining me this morning is Comrade Ken Okoli. He's a public affairs analyst and also President General Asatu Youth. Good morning, Ken.
Yeah, good morning, Jamal.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And then Paulson Okeke, also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Paulson.
Good morning, viewers. Please join us.
Okay, welcome indeed. Okay, gentlemen, let's start from our websites where we'll have so many stories trending. And the first one says, Census, NUA holds programs review meeting for management and field officers in Oka. Anambra State government begins distribution of computers to MDAs and others. Anambra State government urges communities to support efforts towards erosion prevention and control. And finally, Anambra State government assures of improved partnership with development partners. These and many more are the stories making the round from our website, www.absradiotvorca.com. Do join us now, please. Okay, census. Yesterday we were here with some officials from the National Population Council, and today we're looking at this story that NUA is holding a program review for management and then a field officers in Oka. And we asked them yesterday, are you sure you have made a very proper arrangement for people to all know exactly what's going on in the area of enlightenment? Let me start with you, Paulson.
Yeah.
Does your town know that the census is coming?
Yeah, I know.
I say your town.
My town. Yes, it depends on the level of enlightenment and awareness being created. Because surely before now, the awareness has been very, very low, to my mind. Because there's no efforts going on anywhere. Sensitization is very, very necessary this time around. There are this meeting we always had at the government level, where we're talking about advocacy. When you talk about advocacy, that is when you enlighten the people more that census is coming and what should be done and the roles expected of individuals. But in Anambra, I think National Orientation Agency has taken up the gauntlet to ensure that people are fully aware. It's not only that, we in the media should also be doing something so that the news will be everywhere, people will be highly sensitized, and the roles they are expected to play as well. So that is one thing. The government, the way they are planning about this census, they say we will do training today, tomorrow they say they are not doing it again. It is still another thing that shows that the agency is not prepared at all. Because if you check their schedule, they are not keeping to their schedule any longer. It shows they are not prepared, or that they have technical problems or hiccup problems here and there. But if their field officers, you see them working. But those, the policy makers at Abuja and at various places, they need to put their ass together. If we're having this census, let us have it. But if we're not having it, let them say that this census will not, they are going to postpone it, and everybody becomes fully aware of that.
Okay, thank you very much. Ken, Anambra State government urges communities to support efforts towards erosion prevention. Just like I said, the rains are here. They started very early. We are wondering when it took this break. And then the rain is back. So what do we do to prevent this erosion?
The erosion menace we have in Anambra State There are so many reasons for that. One, there is need for people to be aware that they contribute to the cost of the erosion menace. Because, like the governor said in one of the town hall meetings we had, that people should be able to, when you build a house, make sure that you create a drainage system. Like in our place we call Omi, you have it in your house so that when it rains, the flood will, it's a part of control system to reduce the force of the water moving. So if we imbibe the culture of making sure that every individual has a role to play, then we will not be looking at it as something that is uncontrollable. So like in some communities where you have high rate of erosion there, like Nanka, in fact, in Urumba not, you have it high. And the state government is not something state government can even handle. The federal government has to come into it, and why the state will support. But then communities have a role to play to ensure that there is a level of control in the erosion menace. That's washing away of soil. And we need to, part of the things we need to be doing is planting trees. Planting trees in our communities. And I think the Ministry of Environment is trying to sensitize the people about the role they need to play. Because they had, I think last week there was this celebration of World Earth Day. So the Ministry of Environment organized a town hall meeting where all the stakeholders in the community, the PGs, the Igwes, the PGs, the women leader, and the youth leaders, for us to brainstorm on this earth that belongs to us. How do we protect this earth that we one day will not find ourselves missing from the earth? So, and there were people, there were consultants, they were invited to speak. Then our take home from that town hall meeting is that communities need to take ownership of part of the control measures in reducing erosion in our various communities. Because Anambra State has 179 communities, and if we do not play our role, who do we blame? So that is one thing. The state government is doing well through the Ministry of Environment, and I want them to sustain that effort.
All right. Thank you very much. For want of time, let's get to the paper straight. And our first paper this morning is the Daily Sun newspaper. Daily Sun newspaper. Federal government evacuates Nigerians from war-torn Sudan, says no life lost. That is the banner headline on Daily Sun. With some riders there, spends $1.2 million to hire buses, instructs diplomats to remain on ground to oversee exercise. Okay, down here, presidential poll. Again, Atiku Obi attack INEC and Tinubu. All right. Okay, I think that's all we're taking from this paper. Let's look at the New National Star. The New National Star. International travelers lament as federal government secretly hikes forest rate on flight tickets. Cost of ticket jump 610 naira per dollar above IATA approved rates. And then federal government sacrificing Nigerians to please foreign airlines. This is coming from aviation experts. Lassa fever, 152 dead, 877 cases recorded in 15 weeks. This is very scary. And then first subsidy removers, be ready to pay 100,000 minimum wage. NLC tells federal government, be ready to pay 100,000 minimum wage. And that time the money would have been ordinary paper. Okay. From the Punch newspaper, we have the same story coming from Sudan. Sudan conflict, students lament how evacuation, federal government, slow evacuation, and then federal government to pay $1.2 million. Only 15 out of 40 buses ready on Wednesday conveyed 750 students. And then minister says cost covers 19-hour journey. Security from Sudan to Cairo. Too much excuses when other nationals have succeeded in evacuating their home citizens. Okay, let's look at another paper, the Daily Independent, before we start talking, gentlemen. Federal government hires 40 buses. Sudan crisis, federal government hires 40 buses at $1.2 million to move Nigerians to Egypt. Okay. At last begins evacuation of stranded citizens. And so it says no Nigerian has died in war-ravaged Sudan. Down here, unlike Tinubu, I have no drug case. Dual citizenship scandal. This is coming from Atiku. Unlike Tinubu, I have no drug case or dual citizenship scandal. Okay, appeal court relocates the Bonny election petition tribunal to Abuja. Okay, herdsmen killed 2 soldiers, 15 villagers in Benue communities. Federal government's most review of human rights policies as administration winds down. Lagos begins removal of illegal structures on Banana Island. And federal government hands over second Niger Bridge, May 15. Okay, gentlemen, let's start talking based on what we have seen on the front pages of these papers. This from Daily Sun. The federal government is talking about evacuation of war-torn Nigerians from the war-torn Sudan, and says no life has lost. Thank God for that. But this issue of mentioning how much they have spent by way of warning us so that when this level of corruption, people always want to defend themselves even before they start. So, war-torn Sudan. What do? Look at the logistics or the cumbersome of evacuating our people.
It's a couple of days ago when these news were flying everywhere, the federal government has hired 40 buses to move Nigerians from Sudan to Egypt. I was wondering, why not fly them home straight? With $1.2 million, Air Peace offered his services to bring Nigerians home.
Yeah, but he said they should be brought out at a safer location. Maybe that's this fear of getting into Sudan directly.
Still bringing them home is a safer location as well. Because what the federal government is doing is to bring them to safer locations.
So that's why Air Peace can pick them.
That's why they are considering taking them from Sudan to Egypt at a whooping cost of $1.2 million.
Very scary.
Now, will this cost not bring them home? So when they take them to Egypt now, what happens? Tomorrow, Egyptian authorities may say, come and take these young men and women. And they'll still go there to bring them home. So why do we do our things in half measures? I don't think they are
from the arrangement person, I don't think that sending them to Egypt to remain there, like I said,
it's sending them to safer locations.
So they can move from that place.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why don't we make an arrangement to bring them home direct instead of making home to send them to a safer location? At the same time, Minister of Foreign Affairs is talking with the Deputy Prime Minister of Ethiopia on still accommodating some Nigerians. What happened to our home? Why wouldn't we make one straight effort to bring these young men and women home? So that's what I'm saying. And you are spending $1.2 million, the same amount of money that could take care of bringing them home straight. So,
let's look at everything about it. The students are complaining that this evacuation is very slow.
Yes.
And that, that the number of buses is very small to compare with the number of people there. Over 5,000 people.
It is still that haphazard measure they are doing. They are slow. Because many countries have evacuated their nationals some weeks past. Nigerians, we will be talking about we will do. The same way we do our own things. We are never serious whenever there is a national problem to handle. And that keeps us always as a country that is never prepared.
I see.
That is one thing.
Okay. Ken, let me continue. We have so many stories attached to this. Of course, we knew that Air Peace has, the chairman of APC, has volunteered to go and bring these people free of charge. Okay, but one thing he said that bring them out to a safer location where I can pick them. That's one thing. But then another thing I read somewhere last night, somebody was asking, okay, now that APIS has offered, before now, we have the Adetola, what do you call them? I have the Dangotes, and well, nobody has offered this, and this is the second or the third time that this man is doing this. And tomorrow, I saw him at Arise TV yesterday. They were asking him questions. And nobody has given you national honor for what you have done, and yet you are doing more. Tomorrow, if you rise up to contest for election, and they remember you're an Igbo man, and now you are doing this kind of national service, and nobody is even giving you credit for that. So how will you assess exactly what is going on in Sudan and the intervention Nigeria is giving?
First and foremost, let me commend the owner of APIS Airline, Onyema. It's a patriotic role that he's playing, and wherever he is, I want to say thank you to you for what you're doing, and keep on doing it. That is one of the things that, if we have a good number of Nigerians who are in leadership being patriotic, I think we'll not have the problem we're having in our society. But he's in the private sector, not in the public sector, and he's still making provision for making such provision for our people. It's not the first time, like you likely said, but the way I see him is something that he believes in this country so much, and he's doing it through his own ways, and very commendable to him. Then the outrageous cost of moving our people from from Sudan to a safer place, $1.2 million, almost $1 billion. Wow.
Dollars, not naira.
As I'm saying, almost $1 billion naira is so outrageous. And I keep on wondering, 40 buses, to hire 40 buses. I think there's some things that our people need to actually start getting to understand, that people are the king, not those who run government institutions. They are the king. I do not think, now that we are having this information in the public domain, I think there is need for the ministry that is handling this project to do more clarification for people to understand the cost implication of this project that they are undertaking. Because to say $1.2 million to evacuate our people, and in some newspapers they say hiring 40 buses. I don't think that information, I don't want to believe that that is just to hire 40 buses and use the 40 buses to evacuate our people. But then another aspect I'm also looking at it is the way federal government responds to national issues. Sometimes it makes me wonder, we are supposed to have outlived this stage. Citizens in every country are the king. Citizenship institution is the key vital institution in every society. The government institution is the least. Though the government institution has a role to organize the system, but the citizens are the king. The way we should treat our citizens shows if we understand what governance is all about. First is the people. And I do not even, it's so appalling. Where do we start from? Does the government even know how many citizens of this country who live in Sudan to talk about? But in other countries, for example, in other climes, US, they know there are citizens who are, number of citizens who are living outside their country, in different states, in different countries. But now there is crisis in Sudan. Other nationals are moving their people. Now, we are supposed to have moved our people. Okay, now we have woken up to move our people. Look at the cost implication we are presenting to.
Okay.
So it's not cool at all.
It's not good at all. Okay, let's talk politics. A posting, presidential poll. Again, Atiku Obi attack INEC. And then Tinubu. Let's join it with this other story from the Daily Independent that says, unlike Tinubu, I have no drug case, dual citizenship scandal. This is coming from Atiku.
Yeah. You see, everybody's trying to, amongst the candidates, they're trying to wash dirty their linens and so on. But one thing remains, Tinubu has a case. All Nigerians know he has a case. And Atiku has come out to say, no, I'm not like him. I'm not like him. I don't have a case of a drug case. I don't have a dual citizenship. These are the things they will say in order to nail Tinubu. Because Tinubu himself knows fully well, and that's why his supporters are trying to put that vague defense that, after all, the money does not belong to him. So some will say the money belongs to him, but it's forfeited, and other related things. Then they will say he has Guinea passport, dual citizenship, and because he has a Guinean passport, he is not qualified to be Nigeria's president. These were things that should be are being played up to know that Tinubu is not qualified, and everybody is trying to drum it to the ears of every Nigerian and even the judges themselves to know that these are the issues at stake that will disqualify this man. But whenever they are talking, I have a different mindset altogether. Because I would say, it is not INEC that is on trial. It is not even Tinubu that is on trial. It is Nigerian judiciary that is on trial. Because the way they handle this matter is what will make or mar the judiciary in this country. That is why I say that is the judiciary that is on trial. Because everybody is looking at them. Everybody knows the case. Technicalities or not, Nigerians know the truth in this matter that is before the judiciary. And the way the judiciary handles that matter, we make it that, yeah, they win the people's confidence. Or Nigerians will say, and that is why I say judiciary is on trial.
Okay.
So that is it.
All right. Let's look at other papers now before we start talking again. The next paper this morning will be the This Day newspaper. Again, Tinubu meets APC National Working Committee, National Assembly members over 10th legislature's leadership. And then the writer says, as lawmakers warn against interference in selection of principal officers. The caution against zoning positions alongside executive offices. President-elect to inaugurate flyover court building in Rivers. Okay, that's all we're taking from here. Let's look at the Nation's newspaper. Tinubu APC target consensus Senate President, Speaker. Tinubu APC target consensus Senate President, and then Speaker. Okay, any writer there? Let's move on. Let's move on to the next paper, which is the Guardian newspaper. A subsidy remover, marketers in limbo over implementation of $15.1 billion FS demand for fuel importation. Okay, I saw another story down here. I am encumbered by scandals. Atiku replied Tinubu's Syria loser jab. And then right down here, Oando takes delivery of Nigeria's first mass transit electric buses. I think is a very interesting one. Okay, let's look at the rest of the paper. And then that's the Daily Trust, that is the last paper this morning. National Dynamics, vote delivery to determine NAS leadership. National Dynamics, vote delivery to determine NAS leadership. With some writers there, Tinubu, Shetima, APC leaders hold maiden meeting, and then push for Northwest, Southeast Senate presidency intensifies. Ruling party working on tightrope. Kerry says that. Nigeria is likely among us. Kenya church court death toll hits 95. Too bad. I have no drug case, dual citizenship scandal. Article replies Tinubu, 2 soldiers, 15 villagers killed in Benue. I wonder what's going on in Benue, ethnic cleansing. Okay. Now, let's look at this Senate and House of Assembly selection. Yesterday, they were saying they were considering Northwest and then South. okay, excluding Southeast and the whole lot of things. Now they are talking about consensus candidates. What exactly do they mean by that, Ken?
In National Assembly leadership of the Senate and the House of Rep, because you have two parliamentary system. And in the Senate, I think APC has 51 out of 109. Then in the House of Rep, 360 seats. APC has 162. They have clear lead in the two bodies, and usually this is the politics that is meant for the legislators elect. We don't have a role in it. They know what to do as long as they have a clear majority of any party. The party will always want to meet the stakeholders. I mean, when I mean say party, the political party will have to meet will have to have a meeting with their legislators elect, go into discussions and look at the spread of the members within the six geopolitical zones we have, and look at the previous leadership, how was it constituted. These are things that they look into, and also look at previous ones, how have they constituted the leadership, so that when they put the whole things on the table, they play the whole cards on the table, they will be able to say, okay, at this zone, you have a number of legislators in this zone, and you have not taken this leadership for a long time, and at the presidency, look at the zones that produce the president, the vice president, then it should be fair to move this, the Senate presidency seat to this zone. Is just, for me.
Okay, if at the end of the day the Senate presidency or the Speaker did not come to the Southeast, is there any implication?
Let me ask you, of what benefit is that Senate presidency or House speakership being zoned to any zone to us? Let me tell you.
Balancing of
what we want is
and federal character.
Okay, fine. And assuming before this election,
inclusive government.
Inclusiveness. Fine. And you're talking about inclusiveness and balancing of federal character. To me, that's rubbish. Because if you really want to be sensitive in what we do, the national level, you won't tell me why a political party will feature two candidates from the same religious line. Does it make sense? It means that you are not sensitive to the composition of the citizens of this country.
And for the way things are going, it's like the same religious, they will toe the same religious line.
Nigerians, I'm telling you,
the National Assembly.
Nigerians are not interested in the leadership of this National Assembly. It's just for the people who are there, what they are going to go in there for themselves. What Nigerians were interested in was in the general election. That was what Nigerians were interested in. That general election.
It's come and gone.
It has come, but you have not finished, like my brother said. See, this election that produced the candidates, let me tell you, for the first time, citizens of this country believed in the process, came out in mass to participate in the process. Because before you participate, you have to believe in the process. Nigerian citizens, for the first time, a good number of persons, almost like 10 million persons who never voted for the first time, believed in the process, got registered. Why? Because they were told that this time around, you will have a feedback mechanism that are going to be put in place. That's what INEC said. That feedback mechanism, what does it mean? That as a voter, electorate, you go to your polling unit, get accredited. After the accreditation, you'll be given ballot papers, you cast your vote. Then you can wait after the result in your polling unit is counted, you will be there, you will see the result sheet, the result being entered in the INEC result sheet. Then they will use the reverse, snap the result and upload it
Expressly.
immediately in the presence of the voters. What does that mean? It means that once you voted and you see the result counted, then the result entered, it will be uploaded. Now, in INEC server, you will check it there and see it as you have it in your result. So if you're having to have the opportunity to snap the result, keep it, check INEC online server, you will see the result there. What I mean is a feedback.
It is.
And it gives you confidence that, oh, we have gotten it right. This opportunity that INEC
Denied
lost, not that they lost that opportunity to show that in this country that belongs to all of us, that they have not started, they are not ready to defend what they told us. Now, the election has, like you said, the election has come and passed, but the scare is there. It is there. Then we are now in the process of the transition period. One of the greatest challenges this government will have is legitimacy issue. Legitimacy issue. Because it's obvious, even the child knows that this election, though massively participated by the citizens, but to say it was fraudulent is to say the least.
But does it really matter to a Nigerian class whereby impunity is the order of the day? Who cares about legitimacy?
Now, that's where you get it wrong. Because, see, legitimacy has to be given through the process through which you emerged. If you emerged as a winner through the due process, you understand that leadership is not even by that position. Leadership is not occupying position of authority. It is an activity in which everyone is involved. When you say the leadership class, they don't care about the legitimacy, then you get it wrong. Because can you travel freely to other states? What will be the perception of the other citizens of the other countries over your leadership? Because you're going to even go to other countries, talk to citizens of your country in the other states. How would they welcome you?
And you think they care, these people? Let's move on. Let's look at this subsidy removal, please. Okay. And now here there was a marketers in limbo over implementation. 15.1 first demand for fuel importation, and then somewhere I think we saw it in where is in Daily Sun, and the NLC was saying if you are going to remove subsidy, be ready to pay 100,000 naira minimum wage. Yes.
To tell you the least, I support fuel subsidy removal.
Okay.
That is one thing. Because it has become very, very obvious that it's only a few people in this country that are enjoying this subsidy. It's a subsidy that runs into trillions of naira, the money that will be used to do other national development. We use it to pay subsidy. So we've been talking about running for the evil days. I believe that let it come. Let us see what it is. There are some palliative measures. Like federal government, the World Bank has given us some millions of dollars loans, and they're trying to manage it. But what is important is making it right, making this loan right. But for us to continue to live under the fuel subsidy regime is wrong. No nation can make progress. This nation can never make progress under fuel subsidy regime. It's better we withdraw it, we suffer it in the first 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, we get used to it. Our country will move forward. Now the labor is threatening 100,000 minimum wage. Well, if the federal government wants to do it and do it right, this loan they got from the from World Bank, they should use it to ameliorate some challenges. that will be faced during this removal or while we are trying to adjust. They use it to cushion the effect or the hardship. They could do it through transportation system. They could do it through other ways.
Instead of just using cash, which will bring about inflation.
No, cash is nonsense. I don't believe in sharing people 5,000 naira will cushion any effect.
But NLC is asking for 100,000 naira minimum wage.
No, it is not even there, because if you do it, you still cause another problem. But what is important is try to put a structure on ground that will try to cushion it. In transportation, one thing, even the fuel that you are buying, those of us, if you have massive buses everywhere, I can drop my my car, and join public bus. And many of the Nigerians will do that until things begin to adjust and become normal. Okay. That's one thing.
Talking about buses, Ken, you heard about the electric bus that Wanda has taken delivery of. Will it work here? When for the past 3 days I've been communicating with my family, they said there's no light. You don't even have light to charge your phone, and then to charge your car. It's coming up now. How do we do that?
In other countries, this electric bus is not an issue. But why it is an issue or becoming news here is that a lot of a project, but you ask yourself, is this sustainable? Can we sustain it? The attitude of us, both the leadership and the lead, I don't see it as something. Apart from buses, didn't you hear about light rail of the Minister of Transport talking about? Then, when this government of Buhari came into position. So are we still talking about it today? So to me, when I see such projects, I just said, wow, it's one of the bogus plans to take money from the system.
I see.
That's just where I see it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. We would have liked to talk about some of the things, especially the ethnic cleansing that's going on in Benue State. But then let's draw it there and get set for another another session from this Good Morning Anambra. Thank you very much, Comrade Ken Okoli. Comrade Ken Okoli is a public affairs analyst and also President General Asatu Youth. I think we need to take you on this one of these days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, Paulson Okeke, a public affairs analyst and also a journalist. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, my people. This is where we're doing the cutting on Good Morning. On press review this morning. My name is Sijama. Do get ready for another round of discussion.
Welcome to the program Spelling Bee here on Anambra Broadcasting Service, the heartbeat of the East. Right here on the station at this time, we basically spell and pronounce correctly. This morning we have two brilliant students here in the studio with us. We have Godfrey Sachima. We also have Ilechuku Kosi. Contestant number 1, exploit, pick a number.
Number 1.
Number 1 says nephew.
Nephew.
Okay, that was correct. My name is Sandra Atba, the Spelling Bee Mistress. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Thank you for watching and listening.
I hear say they don't fire you for your work. as I see you so, hunger don dey hold you. I think this is the opportunity wey we go take talk to my oga.
You want this fake 1,000? Collect my 900 naira thing. Plus my bread, you be thief.
Ibukun, you will use what you have to get what you want.
They said we have till month end to complete our clearance. If not, they will forfeit our admission.
My name is Desmond. Desmond Oluwolanya.
Do you want to fight me?
If you touch me, I go tell everybody say na you dey supply fake money.
You will talk to Iboko for me. Are you? See, let me tell you something. If you can talk to Iboko for me and she agreed to marry me,